All right, well, let's get things kicked off. Welcome, everyone. Gary Schick. I'm a National Partner Manager for Quest Technology Management. I am joined by our esteemed Vice President of Sales and Channels, Adam Burke, and Brian Perdue is my peer as a National Channel Manager. Will be closely monitoring the chat for any questions you have. We do have a smaller group today. It is an interactive session, so please don't hesitate. Your microphones are hot. Cameras are hot if you're inclined to do those kind of things, and look forward to spending a little bit of time this morning. So let's get down to it. So just a couple of housekeeping things. As always, we are recording this session, so this will be available up on the Quest Partner Portal afterwards. As I mentioned, it is interactive, so please feel free to contribute or ask questions as you need. And for those of you who are here, and have been returning customers, we have a nice e-gift card that we're going to be sending out afterwards for joining us today as a thank you for making the time. Okay.
We'll jump to these. We'll jump to these at the end as well. But if there are any other questions that you have during the session, would love to have them in chat or unmic at any time or unmute at any time and speak up, and we'll jump through it. But appreciate the questions that were submitted beforehand. Sorry, Gary.
Yeah, no, those are super helpful, and thank you for sending those along. So hey, for today, this is the high-level agenda. For those of you new to Quest, we'll just do a quick company overview, kind of where we're different and some sweet spots over there. Adam's going to spend the bulk of the session on kind of what's hot and trending and some of the services spotlight. That's really the bulk of our content. We'll wrap up with some Q&A. Some housekeeping in terms of where we can get information.
Lost your mic, Gary. Hey, Gary, we lost your mic. Oh, Gary, we lost your mic there. Whatever you touched, muted yourself.
Oh, it looks like he just completely disconnected from audio. Shows the
Gary's off.
He's laughing. Right. He's telling a good story.
He's telling a good story, but we'll keep going because we got everyone. We want to text him on the side, Brian. Let him know his audio went down.
Yeah.
I promise we've done this before, guys, but it's all good. So real quick, I'm going to kind of take over for Gary here while. So as far as our company, for those of you who know us a little bit or want to know a little bit more about us, been around for coming up on 43 years now. Started in '82. We have a very simple go-to-market strategy that's pulled us into a lot of different areas. That basically our go-to-market is how can we help, and that's helped us kind of roll through the entire OSI model as far as physical to application layer. So we'll talk about a couple different service divisions we have and a couple different great wins that our channel partners have helped us with. But everything from the physical infrastructure layer, structured cabling, fiber, wireless, all that kind of stuff, all the way through the application layer and integrated services in between. Gary, do we get you back?
I'm back. I had a call coming in and the red button functioned as it was supposed to. It's just on the wrong call. So I have made my way back here. So please continue, Adam. This is I'll pick up as you'd like, but please continue with where you're at.
I just introduced the fact that we've been around since '82, and we kind of help out with all different layers of the IT stack. So
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So next slide. All right, and among the things that we do, Adam's going to spend a little bit more time on this today. And we are a global managed service provider and a managed security services provider up there. We have a global edge compute center with the small green dots on the upper map over there. They would be services similar to AWS and Azure, your kind of public cloud access points globally. We also own and operate our own data center in 2 data centers up in Sacramento, California, about 180,000 square feet there that we own and operate. We do have a network and security operations center there, as well as over in Manila, Philippines, and over in Dublin, Ireland, for that kind of 24/7 follow the sun model. We do have obviously take tech support calls. We do dispatch. We do lots of different services from the NOC and the SOC, including end user help desk. So there's technical calls, obviously, that can come in from the IT group, and then the end users are a different animal altogether. We do have that internally and staff that with our team globally on that side. Co-location and cabinets, we do all that as well. We've got some pretty good development teams from our app dev and our global resources that we can pull from on that side. We are not necessarily locked into the dots that you see on the map here. We're of a firm belief we're going to deliver services where the customer needs them. So I don't have a thought that you have to come to me to deliver cloud services. I can deliver them at Rackspace or Data Foundry or Digital Realty or any of those places. They're actually behind the customer's firewall. So when I say a borderless delivery capability, that is a significant differentiator for Quest. Is you don't have to come to me like you would for Azure. You'd have to go to where Azure is, versus we can kind of support you where you are. Okay. So next, where do we fit in the channel? Obviously, there's hundreds and hundreds of suppliers in the channel. Generalizing here, for the most part, significant number of those are representing their own line card, right? Which makes sense. So AT&T is going to represent AT&T. They're not going to represent Comcast. NICE contact center is going to not represent NICE. They're not going to represent Genesys and whatnot. So that's what they're for. Great news for the channel is you have access to some incredible suppliers in that for those transaction opportunities. That is a significant part of the TSD's portfolio as supplier advocate. On the Quest side, as I shared earlier, we have come to market as a customer advocate and trusted advisor like you, really trying to represent the customer's outcome. It could be any of the products or suppliers that you have listed on the sheet here. We are supplier agnostic, so there's lots of different products, bundled professional services. Can live anywhere. There's lots of different ways to deliver things up there. We're really trying to get to that customer advocate. And Adam, the next slide. And where that really kind of plays out is on this side here, with the different lines of business that we have, we call them Quest service pillars and building blocks. If you look at the different slices on the pizza wheel over there, there's a lot of companies, for example, on the products wheel. There's probably a lot of companies in the portfolio where you can buy a product or licensing or maintenance or whatnot up there. There's not a lot of differentiation that we can provide if that's what your customer's looking for. At the same time, if you need something else with that, maybe you need professional services to design it or deploy it, or do some interaction or some compliance or things along those lines, application integration. You need day 2 support or deployment in the field out there. As you start to add different things to the customer's outcome, really makes a differentiator for Quest, whereas a lot of the suppliers can maybe hit 1 or 2 of these. There's fewer and fewer that can hit all the different slices of the pizza wheel here. So that vendor agnostic thought and those outcome thoughts, where if you're looking to kind of consolidate your suppliers and really capture more revenue and the growth that comes out of that, that's really where a lot of the TSDs kind of swing over to Quest to see those kind of answers right there to be able to help on that. Okay. And Adam, I think that is it. Yeah, on my part, it is.
Awesome.
Okay, back again to Mr. Adam Burke, who's on the wheel and good to take it away. So thank you, Adam, go for it.
Awesome, thanks, Gary, appreciate it. And again, thanks everyone for hopping on. I'm going to be walking through a little bit about what we do at Quest and something we noticed chat with partners, and sometimes we get feedback of, hey, you talk about Quest flexibility, you talk about complexity, but what are some of the things you actually do in the managed services space? So we didn't want to overthink it. Gary and I put together some content, basically, hey, at our core, at our managed services core, what are some of the building blocks that we operate on and we help clients with from a support standpoint? So traditional MSP services across the board, been doing this for about 25 years. Our first client that we worked with, if anyone remembers Cisco Mars equipment back in the day, we had a regional bank in Northern California that acquired a lot of new Cisco equipment. Their network engineer left, and they were kind of stuck, and they asked us, hey, can you help us monitor, alert, and store all the logs generated from this new Cisco architecture we bought. We said, sure. We bought some 4-post racks, and that was our first network operations center, was for a small bank. 25 years later, as Gary mentioned, we're in about 16 different delivery centers around the United States and multiple other sites overseas. And we're helping thousands of customers with the simple building blocks of what they're asking for help with. And those can be any mix of what you're seeing on this list here. So a lot of your clients, as simple as it sounds, struggle with the ability to monitor performance, monitor up-down capabilities, and event management on their systems, as well as logging their events, right? So what's happening on their environment, when is it happening, how is it happening, and getting visibility to it. Great tools, great assets have been invested and purchased, but they need help operating those systems. And then as you move throughout the stack here, you have things like patch management, anomaly detection, okay, simple ability to have the notification of when someone clicks on malware and gets their endpoint infected. How are they going to see that, right? So managed services are 24/7 with Quest. And then if you layer on the security features as well, we have things like anomaly detection, asset vulnerability scanning, if you think about what a managed service provider does, or what a managed security service provider does, all of those basic building blocks are within the Quest portfolio directly, and what we do every single day. I had a friend in the channel who I've known for 6 years come up to me the other day and say, "Hey, do you guys do security services?" And and this is someone I've known for years in the channel, and for whatever reason, they thought of us as a physical infrastructure division and maybe some application development, but not in the managed services space. So want to just be as direct and straightforward as possible. We monitor any asset the customer has. Anything that throws off a logged event or has an IP address, we can monitor, support, and patch. We do it every single day for thousands and thousands of endpoints. I think last check, just our endpoint protection services, just for endpoint desktops, was well over 55,000 endpoints under full managed services on operations. So very, very robust offering. We see a lot of very interesting data points coming back, and it gives us a lot of capabilities to help customers with unique environments, right? We have an application development team that helps us say yes to all sorts of different managed services and managed security service needs. One of the most important things that I always want to make sure you as our partners are aware of is that we have the ability to help very, very quickly with our incident response and incident containment services, which basically just means when something goes wrong from a security standpoint or from a operations standpoint, and your client needs emergency support, so their core routers go down, their main internet connection link goes down, someone cuts the fiber to their corporate office or their data center, or they experience a malware outbreak, ir@questsys.com, just the letters ir@questsys.com, or there's a button on our website that you can go to as a partner and click on and call the 800 number. We can help 24/7, 365, anytime. Within about 15 minutes, we're engaging with that customer to understand what they're dealing with. Huge service, huge differentiator. You have that in your back pocket as a trusted advisor and partner with Quest to use anytime. And it's a fantastic offering. We're averaging about 3 non-customer events, non-existing customer events per week right now. So very, very active in that space. Another area that I wanted to drill down on and make sure everyone is understanding this, and as you maybe articulate this to your customer, what's going to happen is you maybe say it 3 or 4 times, and then the best part about this type of an engagement is at some point your customer is going to repeat this back to you, and you're going to kind of smirk to yourself and be like, yeah, I think I have a partner who can help you do this. So on the far left of the screen here is the idea of what we've been doing for 42, 43 years. Customer buys the equipment or the licensing and the software. Then the customer operates it, right? So they buy it, they operate it, they're doing it themselves. As you move to the right of this spectrum here, this is where, as Gary mentioned, we can help a customer behind their firewall at a location of their choosing, wherever they need the flexibility for support of their IT environment. So you may, as a trusted advisor, have missed the firewall refresh project, or maybe they went a different direction with a different VAR, and you're the trusted advisor, and they went with a VAR to go buy a bunch of Palo Alto or a bunch of Fortinet or a bunch of Cisco, whatever it is. They own the asset, right? They own the switch stack, they own the data center, they own whatever they purchased. Things are going to change, right? Things always change in IT. So they may have made an investment in a new product or a new offering, but at some point they may need some help with that. So, and we see hundreds of these requests every month come in where clients own the assets, but they need help operating, maintaining, supporting, or patching those assets, whatever they are: video cameras, core switching, data centers, their Azure environment, right? Their AWS environment, whatever it is, they are in control of that asset. They have a subscription to it, or it's on their premise, but they need help operating it, maintaining it, and managing it. So we are totally fine to jump in and help support very diverse environments. And you, as a trusted advisor, can stay in the conversation with them to help them do that when that need comes up. And it always comes up at some point in the life cycle of that purchase. They're always going to need some kind of help. Further to the right is the idea of, hey, maybe they don't want to purchase the asset, they want to subscribe to it. So they don't want to purchase the new firewall. They don't want to deploy the firewall to 50 new locations and deal with all the logistics of cutting over circuits and dropping hardware at different locations and having engineers on site to assist with turnup. They want that platform up and operational, pointing back to their team to manage it. So we can own the deployment of those components: network, firewalls, switches, endpoints. Don't care what the technology is. We can deploy it and deliver it as a subscription service. And within our SLA, within our agreements and our contracts, the operations of that agreement are with the client. So we keep the platform, we build the bus, they're going to drive the bus. And we make sure that the tires are inflated, that the oil levels are good, that the engine's operational, but they're driving the bus. Which means organizations that are enterprise and have built out their own security operations, right? But maybe they don't want to deploy 500 firewalls, or organizations that have a good IT person who's competent and capable, but can't get to their 12 locations around the Southeast, but would still like to manage that firewall config. We can deploy that, or their network, or whatever it is. Again, I go to firewalls and Wi-Fi a lot as examples, but I don't care what the technology is. It can be anything from the physical cabling infrastructure all the way through the applications that drive their business. The last one here is Quest owned and Quest operated services. So this is like fully managed DR as a service, backup as a service, VDI, things that are like a capability SLA where the customer says, I need this amount of backup, I need this amount of desktops, I need this type of network capacity or this type of fully managed firewall and security. What's the cost per user, per asset, or whatever per month? This is a fully managed Quest SLA. So very, very flexible delivery and flexible model for helping organizations consume technology where and when they want the help from Quest and from you as a trusted advisor. So
Adam, I don't know if you're going to touch on this later. Can you talk a little bit about the bundled aspect of that too? So a lot of times your mind goes to like the technology as a service. Can that include other things also, or maybe you're going to touch on that later?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that's a great point around the bundling of services. There are usually so I'll just use the wireless as an example, because there's a lot of things that go into wireless. I'm a consumer. I check into a hotel. I just expect it to have wireless, right? But in order for that hotel to have had wireless, a lot of things had to happen. One, the physical infrastructure had to be deployed within that hotel, right? So you have a cabling vendor who goes in there and cables up the hotel. You have to have that same vendor, potentially that vendor or another, punch down all the cables into IDF and MDF rooms. Basically, all the ports need to be identified, all of the routes need to be identified, all the actual configuration of that Wi-Fi needs to be done from a professional services organization. Get the VLAN set up right, guest network, corporate network, all that stuff has to happen, right? So you have the cabling, now you got the professional services. You got to buy the switches and the APs from somebody. So now there's a VAR involved. The customer's got to go through a technology selection process for that. Then you have day two, right? You have the idea of, okay, this system's operational. I got guests checking into this hotel. They're logging into Netflix. They're downloading stuff, whatever they're doing on the network. Who's actually keeping that system up and operational, right? For day two. And then how are you feeding that network to the outside world, right? You got carriers, you got AT&T, you got Lumen, you got local X and all the people that have all sorts of different shenanigans in the carrier world that we all know about and love to deal with. So you have all those different vendors. I think I named about 5. What's really, really powerful about QuestFlex is we can help consolidate with you as the trusted advisor all of those different aspects, all those different delivery systems into one simple agreement. We have the cabling division that cables all the infrastructure. We've been a VAR for 42 years. We can select, acquire, and purchase the technology as needed. We can negotiate and bring in the carrier services as needed, and we can operate and support and implement the systems day two, and we can help with the end user support help desk. So you can take 8 different conversations and 8 different bid selections and 8 different kind of check down discussions and consolidate it into one. Now, want to quantify and qualify with you guys, we don't have to do all of it. So it's not like we have to take on all of it, but that is something that a lever you can pull from a bundling standpoint if your client's open to having that discussion. So it's not required, but it's definitely a feature if they want to take advantage of it. So
And
yeah.
And I think, Adam, the part I wanted to catch on too on that is a lot of companies may have a hard time eating it all up front as a, hey, how much is this going to cost me? So that's an obvious question on that side. It's a very common pivot for us to put all that stuff together and spread it out over 3 years, over 5 years, whatever that is. So they don't have to eat everything all up on the front side. They can get that outcome all put together up front. So lots of great areas around that. So talking about that outcome conversation when budget comes up is certainly part of that also.
Yeah, just literally just before we hopped on here, I was on a call with a customer and a partner they were building out 3 new data centers. It was an AI group, and they had great power, right? They had fantastic power because they were in remote areas with access to certain power that's not usually available to other folks. But one of the challenges they were having was they're out in the middle of nowhere. And one thing that's not out in the middle of nowhere is carrier services, right? There's no long haul fiber out there. There's none of that out there. So what we were doing with them was, as part of building out their data centers, they needed help boring and trenching and pulling fiber from the local point of presence for diverse carriers out to their new data centers. And something that their CFO was very, very interested in was the idea that not only could we help our partner coordinate that transport, but we could do the actual build of private fiber from that point of presence, that last handoff with the carrier, to the data center, and match it to the term of the 10 gig contracts they were purchasing to support their connectivity. So basically, we took a couple $100,000 project for building out that in private fiber. So it's not the carrier's fiber, it's an asset owned by this development group. And we amortize that to match the term of the contract for the carrier services they were purchasing. So we turned a 10 gig circuit deal. We helped the customer, but we also quadrupled that partner's MRR by bundling in the fiber costs into that monthly reoccurring charge, just on that one aspect of the project. So huge win. It was a win-win for all parties. We got a great project to build out fiber. The partner got some great MRR bundled in, but also helped light the data center for his customer, where multiple other aggregators and people had said, no, we can't help you with this. So that we love to work on those conversations again, but that's a business outcome conversation, to Gary's point. What's that customer's challenge? What are they trying to achieve? And can we grab some of our managed services, our infrastructure, our network building blocks, and come help deliver something for them and meet them where they're trying to be? So, anything else on that, Gary, that you want to make sure we covered?
No, they're just great stories, and again, just things we don't think of. I mean, rather than customers, the carriers are going to come in and say, "Hey, to build this connectivity is going to be X hundreds of thousands of dollars," and customers don't have that, right? So that's where that pivot and just understanding how to navigate through that, just getting engaged in the conversation, understanding what they're looking to do is not something that a lot of companies like Quest have the ability to listen to and provide. So. Thanks, Adam. That's great.
Good. Yeah, and something we love to have is you got to kind of understand what the pain they're dealing with, and I love telling those fun stories about when we get to that outcome conversation, but you rarely get to that outcome conversation on the first date, right? That's not what when you're first starting to meet a customer, or we get engaged in a customer conversation. I would love to close the deal on a massive fiber project and data center build, but usually what it starts out with is a small professional services engagement that maybe no one's going to write home about. So this little bullet point down here is very, very important to know. The majority of our managed services contracts start out with a very small professional services job. And we'll get into it a little bit later, but we do all sorts of assessments and all sorts of checkups and reviews and things like that. But having that small professional services engagement, getting involved in their business a little bit, understanding maybe it's their database, maybe it's certain features of an application, maybe it's their CRM, maybe it's their network or their firewall or how they're connecting remote users. Don't care what it is. There's always something that they maybe need a little bit of help with. These typically transition into monthly reoccurring. Almost 3/4 of our MRC is built upon starting out with a small conversation. So, and one of the reasons we love to have these forums, and the reason we have these forums is really because our partners asked us, hey, can you help us with some training or help understand what Quest does? And we love our partners and the service distributors out there that we work with. They're all fantastic. But it's hard to quantify a system integrator approach that we have into kind of the simple back office categories that the TSDs have, right? Because a lot of them kind of have things like data center, cloud, security. We kind of fall into the other category, I guess you would call it. We do all those things, but there's 18 other different aspects of that cloud conversation that aren't necessarily reflected in a simple pillar, right? So staffing is one of those solutions that can take on multiple different directions. A significant amount of our revenue last year with our partners and a significant amount of the commissions that we paid was through short-term and long-term staffing engagements. That's through things like technical on-call support, technical staffing, and placement, and full-time placement, right? So think about people helping out with the processes and helping out delivering the technology that clients need. It's a professional service. Oftentimes in the channel, it's seen as a one-time engagement. I would strongly, strongly advise you to get comfortable with that one-time professional services engagement, because it's going to lead to additional opportunities that are tagged to you as the partner of record. A lot of what we see in the market is celebration of huge MRR deals, which we all love, the huge MRR deals, and landing a big call manager or CPaaS or UCaaS opportunity or large firewall opportunity is awesome. In our mind, it usually starts with a professional service engagement. A lot of your customers are do-it-yourselfers. They like to kind of run their own gigs, and we need to kind of help them when they're open to that help. As well as an area where Quest can really differentiate, and again, something that's hard to call out in a back office summary, is the unplanned events, incident response, emergency services. Hey, this broke, I need help now. Can you get me people on site now? That's something we do, and I think that's something I would say we do very, very well and effectively. So these are some of the, non-typical opportunities that maybe come up. We'd all love it if someone called us and said, hey, I run a company, I need 300 seats of UCaaS and 20 managed firewalls, and I need it on a 3-year deal, and please give me 3 options, and I'm going to down select the best one. Cool. I don't know how many calls you guys are getting that are like that. Usually it's somewhere else, things are starting somewhere else, right? So that's where these challenges, if any of those types of unique challenges come up, engage with us, ask us, hey, what would you guys do here? How could we help? We'd love to tell you how we've had experience in these different areas in the past.
And Adam, let me maybe chime in here a little bit too, just on the back to that piece there. Just so as we get on the customer call, that's really where we're going to kind of hone in. We all know there's a transaction, right? Hey, somebody needs something, right? So they call you up and, hey, I need a quote on this, or I need this type of service. So it always starts in that transaction. When we get on those telephone calls and really start to ask questions, these are some of the things that we really tune into that may not be top of mind for a lot of people, including the customers. They may have not even thought about some of those things on the other side of the transaction. So these are huge parts of our engagement. You don't have to know all these things, but that's where we go from there. Thanks, Adam.
Yep. Those conversations are key. Love having those discussions. These are kind of one of the things that I wanted to call out today is we do have training sessions. We do have some boot camp series that if you'd like to hop on, or you have anyone on your team that you'd like to hop on, we'd like to kind of go through a little bit of sales training around business outcomes, and understanding, how to engage or how we engage, just so, it's, kind of, we're both learning at the same time. So we do put those boot camps together. We'll cover that a little bit later. But the bundled approach, oftentimes people can think like, oh, well, it's custom, so it's more expensive. It's actually not. It's usually gives organizations a lot of flexibility around kind of tailoring what they want to have happen. And it meets the clients really, where they are. As an example, we do, a product called a Cyber Defense Suite that's made up of about 12 different solutions. Everything from immutable storage to patch management to password protection to MDR services to SIM to firewall as a service, and DNS security and cloud monitoring and vulnerability scanning. 14 different layers of IT solutions from a security perspective. A lot of clients already have some of those deployed, so it's not like they have to customize the entire Cyber Defense Suite. They can pick and choose. which features they want and which ones they don't. So we love to have, and we can bundle those, we can bundle services that we're providing with an overlay support of what they already have in place today. So if they already have firewalls, but they need help with endpoints, we can support their firewalls and deliver endpoint protection. If they need password protection for their users and DNS filtering for their users and manage firewall, but already have MDR or already invested in like CrowdStrike or something, we can bundle those solutions together as well. So very, very flexible approach there. There's like we mentioned earlier, how do you start the conversation? Everyone loves to talk about AI, and everyone loves to talk about cybersecurity. Probably two of the easiest entry points right now, if you want to start a conversation with a client, is to drop the AI buzzword or the cybersecurity kind of conversation. We're seeing a lot of success and a lot of people open to hopping on our artificial intelligence workshop sessions. This is not a thought leadership. I'm going to tell you how smart I am and, you know, drop a bunch of buzzwords around AI and where it's going to go and my opinions on, you know, Elon Musk or the guy from ChatGPT who, you know, took a non-for-profit business and took it to a, anyways. So like the AI workshop is fundamentals on what they have in place today and what they need to build and areas that they're going to be basically challenged if they drop in things like Microsoft Copilot or integrate with different AI agents, or they're expecting agent-to-agent communication. So we go through governance conversations with them. We go through a little bit of a brainstorming session, and we kind of go through like, hey, from a readiness and a feasibility standpoint, knowing what we know about their environment during the workshop, where are their gaps and what do they need to do in order to prepare themselves for the AI agents and the things that are evolving very, very quickly. This is a paid engagement. This is something that we do charge customers for. It's usually anywhere between a day and a multi-day session with a couple different stakeholders, depending on the size of the organization. But this is something that we've seen a lot of folks take advantage of, and we're scheduling these out a few a week right now, where it's really helping to start the conversation. It's not teaching people about what AI to purchase. It's not positioning like a certain solution. It's helping that customer understand what they have today and what they need to potentially deal with or adjust down the road. So great conversation starter. We have some content on this we can definitely share with you guys after this, but huge opportunity there. Any questions on the AI workshop? All right.
I don't think so.
Nope.
Oh, I just said I don't think so. Thank you.
Oh, okay. No, all good, Meredith. Thank you. The other one that's is a game changer, I believe, is technical on-call support. We have a promotion around this for new logos. So we pay $500 for the new logo, and we have about a $5,000 retainer that goes into this. So nice little bump on commission payment for our trusted advisors as an incentive here. But this is a 24/7 capability where clients can call in for remote, on-site, or emergency support with published rates that they know and that they can have access to as an extension of their team. So I mentioned earlier that a significant amount of the commissions that Quest paid last year in 2024 were through short-term professional services and long-term staffing. Technical on-call support was a significant driver for that. And technical on-call support, one of the best features of this is phone a friend for engineering support. This is the Uber for engineering. So I got a challenge, I have a problem, I have an upgrade, I have something I'm going through as a customer. I need help with my video surveillance platform. I need help with my SQL database. I need help with, I just lost my main agile team or my scrum master. I needed someone to come in and help me, finish this project for this application rollout. I need to recruit someone senior from a DevOps team and an orchestration engineer. Don't care what the technology is. These are the skill sets that are broken down. They can call in 24/7 and I need this resource. I need a cabling tech at this location at this time with this skill set. Roger that. Here's the rate. Here's the coordination. We'll get them there, whether it's an emergency or scheduled 24, 48 hours in advance. So huge opportunity. A lot of pain out there in the middle market, especially with resources. Rarely do Gary, Brian, or I get on a call with a partner and an end user and talk about what Tox can deliver for them. Do they say, no thanks, I have all the technical resources I need? I'd say we're close to 80, 90% close on technical on-call support conversations. It's a no-brainer for the middle market. Every one of your clients is struggling with this. So we're leaning in heavily to Tox. We really do think it's a game changer out there.
Yeah, we totally agree with that.
So, we can provide. So thanks for the thanks for the question there. Yeah, we do provide wireless health checks or wireless heat maps. Absolutely. So, and I know we're coming up on time. I want to leave a little bit of time for Q&A. So this is Cyber Defense Suite. We do have a boot camp specifically around this, and we also have a learning management portal where you can get trained up on all the different features of our Cyber Defense Suite. So these are all the layered defenses I was talking about as far as monitoring, alerting, email security, patch management. They're all here. Fantastic layered offering to start the conversation around cyber defense services. This is something from a checkup standpoint. If you're looking on how to start a conversation with a client, this is a very, very powerful one, because I mentioned our incident response and incident containment services. This is where people get breached. These 7 areas right here. And backups is either it saves their life or their company goes away. And it's that serious when it comes down to being held for ransom or a malware outbreak. The endpoint gets compromised. They find a vulnerability that's not patched. Email gets through that shouldn't with malware. How their folks are connecting or where they're going or what they've done on their firewall. This is where people are getting breached. So what we've done is we've said, hey, we'll put together a cybersecurity checkup. We will have an engineer on the system with you, reviewing your patch management, reviewing your backups, reviewing your firewall, specifically to this skill set. We'll do one of them for $775. We'll do all 7 of them for $4,500. It's not a very big investment to do a checkup on these critical systems. Very, very powerful tool. It's a no-brainer for anyone who's ever gone through a penetration test or a business impact analysis or a very, very expensive cybersecurity engagements. We do all that stuff too. And it's not expensive if you ever dealt with a breach. So being prepared is not expensive. So I don't want to say like a business impact analysis is expensive, but compared to a $4,500 checkup where, senior engineers are engaging and giving recommendations directly to your client and documenting those recommendations is a huge, huge win. So if you hop on the Quest website or the Quest partner page, you can download this. We can send this to you. This link will take you directly to the full summary of what the checkup is. Again, very similar to Tox. Once the client understands what this actually is, it's kind of a no-brainer from an investment standpoint. Oftentimes, folks want to take advantage of this. So, and again, kind of like our managed services discussion, kind of we hop into these like technical on-call support. or cyber defense suite and all those things. Like, well, we get this question, well, do you guys do pen tests? Yes, we do penetration tests. We do one time, we do ongoing, we do reputational analysis. We do consistent vulnerability scanning. We can show your customers exactly what their vulnerabilities look like from external sites that they're being scanned by hackers right now for vulnerabilities. We can show them what that looks like, and we can show them basically here's your gaps and here's your dirty laundry that's out there on the dark web right now. So all that stuff can be handled. This is part of our cybersecurity monitoring and risk management practice. So want to clearly communicate all of the basic building blocks within monitoring, alerting, and risk management are available to you as a partner, and we can come in and have that conversation with you and your customer to say, you know, here's areas where we can help, or what are you trying to do, and we can put that together for you. So I know I've been talking a lot. Any questions around any of these topics? I'm going to kind of jump ahead here to a couple other things from a financial standpoint. All right. So our SPIF program, we developed a SPIF program. If you guys are getting e-gift cards today for being on the web on the event, and appreciate you joining us. We have a SPIF program that's a reloadable digital gift card where we put funds directly on the gift card for you as the agent of record and the partner of record on opportunities. One that I think is huge and a great opportunity for you guys as advisors and in this community and working with customers is our pipeline SPIFs. So our pipeline SPIFs are around 3 focus areas where we think there's significant upside for you and for us to help your customers. And I don't think there's a lot of people out there doing this. I could be wrong. It's happened a lot. But these areas are areas that we're focused on and would love you to focus on too. Application development, right? Cyber defense suite, and risk management services. If you open up and go to our SPIF page and put in a registration, it's $500 to get us on a call with your customer to talk about one of these areas, right? So it's a pipeline SPIF. We don't have to close it. We don't have to award it. We don't have to high five and ink the deal. It's a pipeline SPIF. We think a lot of your customers probably don't know you can help them out with these things and don't know that this type of support is available. This could be a SQL database review. It could be an API integration, SharePoint, app modernization, cloud services migration, any of that stuff from an application development standpoint. Or any of those cyber defense suite bundled services we mentioned, any of those, patch management, endpoint, SIM, DNS security, any of that. If they want to talk about it and they have an initiative about it, it's a pipeline SPIF. So, I mean, be cool about it. If we get on a call with your customer and, they say, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Bob told me to show up for this and he was going to buy me lunch. Don't do that. Not that anyone had ever done that before to us, but this is like, hey, if they have an initiative around this and they want to talk about it and they want to get a conversation going, it's a win-win for us. We see it as we're helping you build expertise and capabilities in areas that maybe you're not doing right now. And we get an opportunity to, share a little bit about how we can approach things with your customer. We also have the risk management down here. So business continuity planning, DR as a service. And this is a huge one, the CMMC compliance. A lot of people are struggling with this right now. A lot of your customers are struggling with the feds pushing down these requirements to their general contractors. And, like it or not, the government contractor world is huge and there's a ton of money in it. And there's a lot of people who support it and have to figure out how to deal with CMMC controls. So we help out with that. And that's part of the SPIF program. We also have a new logo SPIF of $500 a new logo. So anytime you guys bring in a new logo to Quest, we put together a direct payment onto that reloadable digital gift card you have. And then another one that's kind of like the pipeline review that I'd love to see more of you taking advantage of is what we call the capability review, SPIF. This is a 30-minute session with your customer. Sometimes it can go to 45 minutes or a longer discussion, but it's a capability discussion about, hey, I got this supplier in my portfolio called Quest. They have a little bit of a different go-to-market strategy. They are kind of a system integrator for the middle market. Would you like to learn about their capabilities? I think they could help you. Register that with our team. We schedule it. We hop on with your customer. It's not a sales pitch. It's basically, here's what we believe areas where we can help. And we kind of take it to a conversational type structure with them around maybe, wherever they want to go with it. So again, $250 for that review, that capability review. If you want to register any of these, please work with Gary or Brian or myself, David Knoll, partners@questsys.com. If you need the link, would love to. We want to load up those gift cards. Every month we see those spiffs. That the more we're putting out on that means the more pipeline coming in. We love that stuff. So appreciate your support. And if you want to talk about anything specific on there, definitely can.
Real quick, we have several promotions. So the PC category, we're seeing a lot in landing. In the PC to SPC, instead of recommend Eric promotion, and then now Kevin is part of the innovation team. So those are several.
Hi, Eric. Sorry, I'm not sure. I couldn't quite hear that. Do you have is anyone else hearing that, or is that? Sorry, that came in broken on my side.
I was having a hard time listening too. I had my ear pasted to the computer.
Yeah, I think it's just a hot mic. I think it's just a hot mic, Adam.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I know we got a couple minutes here. Are there any questions or anything you guys like to chat about? We definitely have the resources available on the partner portal. It's very simple. There's no password to get in. Has a couple different assets there that are available for you. Document libraries, things like that. If you haven't registered for the bootcamp series, would love to have you. We had our first one yesterday. It's our third time doing this. We get great feedback on it. But we'll send out some information on that too.
So I totally value that.
So yeah. Any other questions? We do send out, I'm not sure if, I'm pretty sure everyone on the line right now is getting these, but we do have our, we call it our quick quest updates every month, where we send out, hey, this is what we're communicating to the world. This is what we're communicating to your customers as a solution provider with you. You do have the ability to opt out of that if you'd like to, or if you'd like to opt out, hey, say, hey, no, please don't send that. Please just send updates to me. Your call. Just let us know your preferences and work with your national partner manager to get that done. So we do have a default on communication where we're notifying people of what we can do and how we can help. And then, yeah, lots of resources and data sheets. This will be on the forms that we send out. This is in the partner portal. All these different links are available to you as part of all our different solution briefs and things like that. And then how to engage. Partners@questsys.com. This is our partner portal that you can get in additional content there. And then opportunity registration. If there's ever a question, partners@questsys.com. That'll hit the entire team and we'll get right back to you. Or if there's an emergency, ir@questsys.com. We'll get you or your client immediately engaged with resources to help. So.
Hey, I also included a link. Sorry to interrupt. I know we're towards the end, but I did put a link in the chat for everyone for our turnkey marketing program. There's playbooks for all of the services that Adam reviewed on this call too, marketing playbooks.
Thank you, Darcy. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Darcy. Hey, this is Edmund here. Real quick, just to that point of the playbooks. So Gary shared those with us. I was just curious. I haven't been into the learning management system. It's probably in the portal, and I apologize, I'm not in front of my computer right now. But could you talk through that just a little bit, like how that differs from the playbooks and how we can leverage those resources?
Sure,
Sure.
yeah. Yeah, go ahead,
Oh,
Darcy.
go ahead. I'll talk about the playbook and you talk about the LMS because I think you need an invitation for that. So the playbooks, and I'm happy, Jill and I are happy to jump on a call with you if you want to run through those or talk about strategy for any of our partners. They are marketing campaign playbooks that you can use to promote a specific service. So I think there's 11 of them right now on the landing page, and we keep adding. So I'll take Help Desk, for example, because that's the newest one that we just uploaded. It gives you tons of templates for emails. It gives you a bunch of talk tracks and suggestions of how you can open up the conversation, use cases. There's LinkedIn posts. There's links to collateral resources that you can use for your outreach. It's basically a playbook that you can take if you want to market a specific service that we offer, and everything is written from the voice of our partners, not from us. So you can just take that book and just put it into action to create email outreach. There's social media posts, scripts to talk on the phone, and just other information and resources there for you just to kind of run with the campaign. It's kind of like Ready, Set, Go.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. We've been using them. I've put it into ChatGPT and come up with some other,
Yeah.
plays just from the information alone. So it's very helpful.
Good.
Just, trying to understand the difference between that and the LMS, right? Because we've consumed all the playbooks,
Yes.
but wondering, if we can get even further knowledge transfer that way.
Well, that's where the LMS comes in handy. So it is a learning
Yeah.
management system. So I'll let Adam talk about it. Two totally different things, but if you do both, it's really helpful. And then attend our webinars too.
Yep. So I mean, we'll get Jill and I'll get that invite over to you guys for the LMS. So it's a learning platform where there's different trainings on different service offerings. So there's an application development module. There's a technical on-call support module. Cybersecurity. So basically, for each one of our different pillars. So kind of going back to the wheel here. We basically built out content on, hey, how best to engage and how can we work together in the cybersecurity world, in infrastructure services and professional services, and then we go down a little bit of a layer deeper too to, okay, specifically around managed security, what are some different plays to use, or how are some different ways to, build out opportunities with customers. So it's pretty high level, basically kind of high level sales strategy. And here's what's worked for us. And it's meant to kind of enable your team with your communication or your practices, or just get people comfortable with, okay, this is the way a security deal works, or this is the way an application development deal works. And kind of walk people through that. So we'll get you invited to that. We're adding modules to it every month. So
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of
Thanks,
like
Adam.
the
Appreciate
security
that.
awareness training. Yeah, it's kind of like a security awareness training, admin. There's a talk track, and then there's little quizzes that you can take on there to walk it through. They're 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but great stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, Gary.
cool. All right. Well, appreciate everyone's time today. I know looks like we ran over by about a minute. But if you have any questions or anything like that, please let us know anytime. And thank you very much for hopping on today.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.